If you're looking to grow your real estate portfolio and buy a rental property with little money out of pocket, this video is for you. Make sure you stay to the very end. I'm going to give you the one thing I wish I would have did when I bought my first house so I could have purchased a rental property a lot faster. Now, if I could go back in time to the first home that I purchased, what I would have done, and I wish I would have done this now that I understand the real estate world a little better, is I would have purchased a multi-unit property. This is probably one of the most underrated ways and not talked about enough on how to buy rental property. Because when you can buy a multi-unit property, whether it's a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, you have those other doors that immediately help you build cash flow in your property. Now, so many of us get taught to buy a single family home, a condo, or a townhome, and that's your first kind of starter home. But you could literally use an FHA loan, which is only 3.5% down, and you could buy an investment property. Or if some of you that are eligible to utilize your VA eligibility to purchase a property, that's no money down. That's 100% financing. So you can literally put little to no money down buying an investment property by buying a multi-unit home. This is the game changer that's out there, because on an FHA loan, let's say you were still buying a fourplex, you can still put 3.5% down. Now, if you can qualify for that type of property, you now have 3 other properties that can offset your total monthly mortgage payment. So this is how so many folks will buy their first investment. They'll live in there maybe a couple of years, fix up the units. Maybe as some of the tenants move out, they move into the other unit, fix it up, and you continue to rinse and repeat to where you then build up enough cash flow to where you can now have a substantial down payment on your next property, or you continue to pocket that money and maybe pay down the mortgage a lot faster, which is then building up more equity for yourself. So if you're thinking about buying a property, I would strongly suggest looking at a multi-unit. If I could go back and do it all over again, that would be the first purchase that I would make, because that would immediately change the game for your investment portfolio going forward. It's really hard to lose when you have other doors that can support the debt that you're servicing. If you were to buy a single family home and let's say that person does not pay their rent, you have to evict the tenant. However long that property sits vacant, you're not generating any cash flow off of that home. And trust me, I've gone through a few properties already where we've had to evict the tenants. As some of you know, I had a property that got hit by lightning. That also did not have any cash flow coming in while we're doing the renovation work. But if I were to have bought a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, if there was something wrong with one of the units, I have other units that can still support the debt that's going on that I have to service. So obviously, the more doors, the better potentially, but you also have to look at some of the additional costs that come into managing a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Some of the things that I ran into when I was looking at buying some of these other units was the roofing costs. There was also water heaters that you have to take into account, because now you don't have 1, you have 4. You have AC units now you have to worry about that. Obviously, it could be more because there's more units. So there are some additional expenses that come into the management of the unit themselves. But if you can get a property that works for the numbers of what you're looking for, I've seen a lot of clients purchase multi-unit properties that do extremely well for themselves. So this is a really cool way that I think so many people should go back and reassess their house buying experience. And if you could go do it your first go around, buy a multi-unit home, I think it would be a really, really cool way to get your foot in the door. You become a homeowner and you also become a landlord at the same time. You may not enjoy the landlord part, but at least now you've experienced it. You know what you like and what you don't like. You can always hire a property manager to help you manage the property. They take a small cut, which in my opinion, it's definitely worth what they take and then some, because I still think it's a discount for the amount of headaches that they could potentially deal with. And you get to continue to build your portfolio. So if you have the ability to buy a multi-unit home wherever you're deciding to live, make sure that you look at these options. And also look at FHA financing. I know here in Las Vegas, you can even utilize a down payment assistance program to help you get into your home. So even at that, it's not going to take a ton of money to get a rental property. So many times we look at investments and you're looking to put 20, 30% down to get your foot in the door. And when you see where housing prices are today, that could easily cost you $100,000+ to buy an investment property. But how cool would it be if you could maybe use a down payment assistance program, or maybe put $10,000, $20,000 down on a property, or if you're a veteran, no money down, maybe get the seller to cover your closing costs. You could literally get into this property for pennies. That's a great way to get your foot going, build some cash flow, and start to have fun with real estate. So it doesn't have to be a rich man's game where you have to have hundreds, if millions of dollars to buy property. If you're smart, you have a good strategy, you can get in with very little money. And this is where my team, we take pride in helping our clients understand some of these strategies to help you get your foot in the door, help you start building wealth, and have fun with real estate. So if you want to get started, make sure to hit the description below. You can send me an email. We'd be happy to hop on a phone call with you and see what we can do to help you get going.